I hope you got your copy of The Keep, motherfucker, because if you ain't, those tears are going to taste pretty salty with the beer. What is good, you fucking nerds? It is I, your boy Tard Kent, the man of STEELBOOK. I hope you've all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, guys. I know most of the shit that comes out of my mouth is ridiculous hyperbole that isn't even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. But I do mean it when I say that I'm thankful to you, the motherfuckers, who made the dubious choice to click this video. And I'm drinking this fine New England IPA in your honor. I think this is out of Boston, Night Shift. So this is for you guys. I'm truly grateful for all 9 of my viewers. Y'all are the real motherfuckers. God bless, yo. Peace be upon you and Namo Buddhaya. Now, I'm a bit late on making this video. I'm a little bit late. I was at a cozy little ski resort for the past few days. I spent Black Friday in the White Mountains, which is not a statement of race, except it kind of is, because the White Mountains are like North New Hampshire, and there was nothing but crackers in that motherfucker. So the White Mountain motherfuckers, they don't know. They think Wesley Snipes is CGI. They don't know that shit exists in real life. At any rate, Black Friday has come and gone. And if you thought I was retarded, Vinegar Syndrome would like a word with you because they laid fucking pipe this weekend. Dick like this fucking pint can, I'm telling you. And I'm here to yell about it. I'm here to tell you all about it. And I won't bury the lead. I mean, there's really one reason predominantly that I'm making this video. Vinegar Syndrome dropped Michael Mann's The Keep in 4K on Black Friday. And this is not a surprise to anybody who visits the Blu-ray.com forums. If you're on the internet, you know, like in addition to jacking off to porn, like if you do any other stuff on the internet, like check your bank account or anything like that, you know, you've probably heard about this, right? It's not a shock that The Keep got dropped and that it got dropped by Vinegar Syndrome, but it is nonetheless a momentous event. The Keep has not been made available on home video in the United States since its Laserdisc release in 1993. I know at least a few of y'all motherfuckers watching this video weren't even born in 1993. I know it. I already know it. So for more than 30 years, this is a film by Michael Mann. It has not been available on home video. If this was like some obscure shot on video movie like Night Ripper or like some 80s Italian splatter film like you understand. It makes sense that it's not available on Blu-ray or 4K, right? No one's shocked about that fact. But when we're talking about a film by the guy who directed Thief, Heat, Manhunter, The Last of the Mohicans, Collateral, this is the guy who brought us Miami Vice in the 80s. I mean, he directed the Miami Vice movie in 06 also, but like this is the guy who brought the world Miami Vice. He's the reason why we have Miami Vice. It's a big deal when a major filmmaker's work is unpublished and inaccessible to the world. The only reason that I've seen The Keep is because I subscribe to the Criterion channel, the streaming service for Criterion, and I watched The Keep on there several years ago. So otherwise, I might not have even seen this movie. I might not know what the hubbub is about. If you don't know, then you better fucking watch the rest of this video and maybe go subscribe to the Criterion channel and get yourself educated on The Keep. So anyway, this is a huge release. This is a big deal. Even if a leak did occur a few months back, I think it was early September, that indicated that Vinegar Syndrome was likely to put out The Keep. Like we kind of knew it was coming because the artist published the artwork that he did for the cover. And like internet sleuths found it and they found the file name and everything. It was like, oh, okay. Looks like Vinegar Syndrome is working on The Keep. But there were still plenty of people. I mean, even though we kind of like, we knew it was coming, we didn't know exactly when. We didn't know like what state of completion. Was it going to be 5 more years before we saw this thing? What was it going to be? So anyway, it's not a total kick in the nuts, but it's still big news. I joined the folks online who are a little bit disappointed that this release is not Michael Mann's director's cut, which is rumored to be like 3 hours long. I think it was like 210 minutes or some shit like that. Like Michael Mann had a cut of a fucking horror film from 1983 that's longer than The Seven Samurai and The Irishman. What the fuck was he smoking? I mean, I think maybe Paramount might have been in the right for saying, like, bro, like, I know it's the 80s. I know you're doing a lot of cocaine. I know you're riding high on that whole Thief and Miami Vice thing. But seriously, there's no reason why your Nazi era horror film needs to be longer than Akira Kurosawa's fucking masterpiece. So maybe you want to fucking tone it down a little bit, Michael Mann. Maybe take a fucking seat and cut this shit off at 120 minutes, son. You're fucking drinking your own Kool-Aid if you're at fucking 210 minutes is what I read. I don't know if that's true or not. I might be spreading misinformation on the internet. Wouldn't be the first time I've done so, but what I'm trying to say is that I wish that we got to see that insane cut. Yeah, I'm in for a cut of The Keep that's longer than The Irishman. Yes, of course. Yes, I would buy that. I would absolutely put my money down and buy that on release day. But I'm also a firm believer that, even though I'm disappointed we're not getting that as the product, we're getting the theatrical cut. It's 96 minutes, which seems short. When you're like, oh, fuck, it's going to be 210 minutes. And they're like, nope, 96. You're like, oh, womp, womp. It feels short. But I'm a firm believer that something is better than nothing, right? So even if it's not perfect, don't let perfect be the enemy of good or even like great. Like, this is a great release. We're very fortunate to be getting this. And yeah, I'm sad a little bit that we're not going to see this wild 210-minute release. At the same time, the fact is we're getting something for The Keep on home media, and that's much better than what we had a year ago or 2 years ago. So something is better than nothing, even though we're only getting the original theatrical cut. And it's a bit of a mystery to me. I mean, for now, at least, it's a bit of a mystery. We might find out down the line, but for a long time, the consensus in the community was that Mann was preventing any release of The Keep because he has a beef with the theatrical cut. Paramount made him cut the movie down to 120 minutes from his original 210. And then they cut it further from 120 to 96. And I believe that was without his involvement. So, like, he's butthurt at Paramount for what they did to the movie. And I guess I don't blame him if what I just said is true and they really did that shit behind his back. Then, yeah, I mean, I'd be pissed too if you chopped up my fucking work. At the same time, it seems like he's settled. Like, the beef is squashed because it's coming out. It's been announced. Vinegar Syndrome has already accepted my money for this release. So it may be that he didn't have a choice. Like, Michael Mann wasn't involved in the negotiations. Vinegar Syndrome did the deal with Paramount. And maybe Michael Mann had no say in that particular arrangement. Or it might be that, Mann finally relented because he couldn't even produce his intended cut. I mean, it might be that his preferred cut wasn't even shot. Wikipedia indicates that Paramount cut funding to Mann before he could film his preferred ending. Like, he still wanted to shoot some more shit, and Paramount was like, hell no, we ain't paying. So they cut up the credit card, and he didn't even get to finish filming all the shit he wanted to film. Moreover, the visual effects supervisor died at the beginning of post-production before he could even do his visual effects supervision work. Basically, nobody knew what the fuck he had planned. They didn't know how he was going to execute on Mann's vision. So there was a little bit of like a troubled production here, and it might be entirely likely even that a completed, polished, releasable director's cut doesn't exist, will never exist. Michael Mann is 81 years old right now, and this is a film that was released in theaters 41 years ago. So yeah, it'd be great. I'd love to see the wild 210 minute cut. There's another universe out there in the multiverse that got the 210-minute Michael Mann director's cut, and I'm jealous that we don't live in that particular universe, but you never know. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Nazis won in that universe and you just don't want to be a part of that one for other reasons unrelated to the fact that those lucky sons of bitches do get the 210-minute version of the film. But regardless, at least we live in a world where the good guys won the World War II, right? I mean, look at what the CIA has been up to for the last 60 or 70 years. And it's definitely true that the good guys won. I can drink to that. So look, no director's cut. And to sum it up, as my oldest daughter says, you get what you get and you don't get upset. You got to just take what life gives you sometimes. It's sage-like advice from a 5-year-old, really. Um, and the real news is that if you didn't get that shit, like if you are listening to these words and you ain't bought that shit yet, you ain't getting that shit. You ain't getting shit. And that's actually the real news about this release, right? I mean, it's not news at this point in time that the Keep drops. The big deal, like the really huge news about this, and the really significant thing about this that I'm trying to communicate to you guys while also drinking beer and having imbibed some other substances that are federally illegal and I shouldn't talk about on the internet. Every single fucking copy of The Keep sold out in less than 48 hours. Under 48 hours. Vinegar Syndrome dropped The Keep at midnight Thanksgiving night. Technically, it was Black Friday morning because it's Friday as of midnight. So I don't know if it was 12:01 or 12, whatever. It's not important, but the minute Thursday rolls into Friday, boom, they open up the website and this shit has dropped. And by Saturday night, by Saturday evening, right? So this is well under 48 hours. This is something like, I don't know, 42 hours or 43 hours. Every single one of the limited edition was gone. All 12 fucking thousand copies gone. That's 12,000 copies. I mean, this is coming from Vinegar Syndrome. They do print runs of some of their stuff, 3,000 copies, 4,000 copies, and yeah, if they dropped 3,000 copies of the limited edition, of course, that sells out in mere moments, but 12,000 copies, that alone ought to be an indication that every YouTuber who ever releases a video called "Physical Media is Dying," they're either a fucking idiot because they don't know what they're talking about, or they're knowingly spreading bullshit for the clicks. Okay? It's either they're an idiot or it's clickbait and it's lies, because physical media is absolutely not dying when Vinegar Syndrome can sell 12,000 copies of a limited edition film for $45 a pop in under 48 hours. That means you got many thousands of physical media collectors and enthusiasts, not unlike myself and probably you if you're watching this video, that are very happy to scoop up a unprecedented physical media release like The Keep. Uh, I mean, I thought it was impressive when Synapse sold all of their Trick or Treat limited edition box sets within about a week or 10 days. I want to say it was maybe 7 to 10 days. They sold through all of their Trick or Treat limited edition. I got one, it's over there, but they sold them all. And I was impressed with that because that was $70 per unit. I was convinced at that price point that it was actually going to take them several months, maybe even a year, to unload all of those copies. They did almost 7,000 copies of Trick or Treat limited edition, and about $70. I mean, after tax and shipping, I think it was like $72. And that's for a single film. I mean, it's a limited edition, but it's for a single film. I kind of figured they would sell a big portion. They'd sell maybe the first, 2/3, and it would be pretty easy for them to go through the first 2/3. But I figured there would be some stock that kind of lingered. Once the enthusiasts bought up the first, 66 or 67%, I figured they'd have a few there that, your kind of normal collector, people that weren't in love with Trick or Treat would still be kind of hemming and hawing, and maybe I want to wait for the cheaper standard edition. But Synapse sold all, I was 6,666, it is a Halloween thing. So they sold all of their almost 7,000 copies within, it was within probably 2 weeks. It was under 2 weeks. Those sold quite quickly. I mean, Orbit went through all of their supply very fast. I was lucky I ordered it first day and managed to get the copy with the cover that I wanted. But that was, I mean, hats off. I was like, hats off to them for selling all 6,666 copies. But bro, Vinegar Syndrome outdid them by nearly double. I mean, they outdid them by like, you know, 5,000 some odd units, 5,444, whatever. I think that's the right math. Don't ask me. I've been partying at a fucking ski resort all weekend. So what do you want from me? I'm not doing math on the fly. So I'll grant you that Vinegar Syndrome priced the keep about $20 less than Synapse price Trick or Treat. Okay, Synapse price Trick or Treat at 66 bucks. The limited edition of the keep was about 45. So it's about a $20 difference, you know, before tax and shipping and shit like that, whatever that is. Obviously, I'm just talking about the retail cost of the unit. But you know, Vinegar Syndrome selling almost twice as many in a fraction of the time, a small fraction of the time. It is an indication of several things. A, The Keep is a more well-known film, much more well-known film by a much more well-known director, right? But it's understandable that for that reason, The Keep would sell more units. There's just more interest involved in a Michael Mann film. He's a very well-known director. But even still, 12,000 units is a huge print run, even for Vinegar Syndrome. The only other movie, and granted, I didn't spend 2 hours on their website looking, but I did spend a while looking around at all of Vinegar Syndrome's previous releases that were like hot, that sold out and sold quickly and still go for hundreds of dollars on eBay. And out of all of the films, Vinegar Syndrome has quite a few that they've sold out. Showgirls is the only other Vinegar Syndrome release that I was able to find that's sold out now that had a 12,000 print run, right? So that's the only other sold out Vinegar Syndrome limited edition release that I was able to find that had as high a print run as The Keep. And I don't recall how fast Showgirls sold out, so I can't compare, but it did. You know, we're talking about two sold out releases, and Showgirls is still kind of a coveted limited edition release, if the Rad sale was any indication. Roadhouse had 10,000 units, and that's another hot sold out limited edition that, you know, it's a, kind of in the pantheon. New York Ninja had 10K. That limited edition is sold out. The Thriller, the slip box, the nicer, you know, slip box of Thriller, A Cruel Picture, had 10,000. The OG Amityville on 4K, the OG Amityville limited edition only had 6,000 copy print run. That's half of The Keep. So as far as I'm concerned, right, as for my money, as far as I'm concerned, The Keep absolutely enters the pantheon of like the hottest, most successful, most sought after Vinegar Syndrome releases of all time. Of everything that they've released, it's right up there with Roadhouse and Showgirls for being something that sold out fast, despite a higher price point for a limited edition and despite a pretty high print run. I mean, there are movies right now that Vinegar Syndrome has for sale on their website, because the sale is still going on as I record this, that Vinegar Syndrome made a 4,000 print run of the limited edition, and they're still on sale for $15.99 on the sale right now, and they've still got several hundred copies left. So that's the fucking crazy part about this. I fully expect that by the start of next year, I mean, it's happening now. I already looked. Look, it's happening now. These things aren't, no one has these yet. They haven't shipped yet. They've only been on sale. The thing's been out of print for, I don't know, not even 24 hours as I record this. And look, I found this before recording this video on eBay. The thing's not even available yet, and people are already flipping them for $200, $250. Look at this shit. Absolutely. These things are going to continue to flip on eBay. People are going to continue to ask ridiculous sums of money for these. And you could have gotten it for $45, and they want $250 for it, right? For some reason, they think tacking $205 on is a fair thing to do. I think it's fucking ridiculous, but I got no fucking time for scalpers. Those people are burning in hell along with the fucking Nazis. Maybe not the same level. I'm not that extreme, but fucking scalpers. People are going to be flipping these. So look, the standard edition is also sold out, but I think probably that is coming back in stock. The standard edition does tend to be relatively unlimited until Vinegar Syndrome loses the rights to sell the thing. They'll sell as many as people want to buy, really, until the rights lapse. So I have a feeling that you'll still be able to get the keep at a reasonable retail price as long as you don't mind owning the basic bitch standard edition version. I mind owning the standard basic bitch version. So I pre-ordered this shit at like 12:30 a.m. on Black Friday morning. I mean, it was like 20 minutes after the sale began. And I was looking, I was like, they still got more than 1,000. You know, maybe I'll wait till tomorrow. Maybe I'll wait it out. And then a voice inside my head said, you know what? This ain't going to be around for 6 months. It's not going to get cheaper. It is not, you're not going to find this bitch on sale. So just fucking pull the trigger right now and secure a copy so that you don't have to whine about it on fucking, nobody wants to listen to you whine on YouTube. So my only regret really with the keep is that I didn't order 3 or 4, like using my VPNs and like alternate addresses so I could flip a bunch of these online. Because look at this shit. Motherfuckers asking $250 for this shit. I could have fucking paid my mortgage for a month if I just ordered 3 or 4 of these. And I fucking, you know what I'm saying? Shit. I knew these would go, but I'm surprised how fast these went. So look, thank you for sticking with the video this long. I got a few final takeaways. Let me just sum up my ramblings in a few quick sentences to highlight kind of the whole point of this, the whole point of my incoherent thoughts. If you missed this shit, you're shit out of luck. Have fun buying the limited edition for $200 on eBay in 6 weeks. If you didn't miss this, then you can join me in Club Smug. That's where I'm hanging out with my fucking summer scarf on. We congratulate ourselves for getting in on this shit for a fraction of what some people are going to be paying on eBay in 6 weeks, right? So if you got this shit for $45, then congratulations, son. Pat yourself on the back. I tip my beer off to you. I also want to say, in some, physical media is alive and well. Don't listen to nobody telling you physical media is dying, because it is absolutely not dying. They sold $1.5 billion of physical media last year, and that's just movies. That doesn't include vinyl sales or anything like that. They sold 1.5 billion in DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks alone. That's just films. And Vinegar Syndrome is clearly also thriving. So, maybe the normies are out of the game. Maybe the normies are out of the game forever, but the collector's market is absolutely thriving, and this release of the keep is absolute proof of that. And finally, Vinegar Syndrome is also killing it. This shit sold like hotcakes, and they've really killed it this year. Just backing up from the keep a little bit to look at what Vinegar Syndrome has done in 2024, they have absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, killed it this year with some really huge releases of some important movies that have long been unavailable on home media. I mean, holy grails like Little Darlings, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, The Keep, they could each have been a holy grail for any boutique publisher out there. I'm certain that Criterion would have put out Little Darlings. Criterion would have put out Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Criterion would have put out The Keep. You know, Arrow would have touched any of them. Arrow would have fucking, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that these are big movies. These are movies that performed well in their time. They're movies that are considered, if they didn't perform well in their time, there are movies that were subsequently considered important. You know, they're films that were, despite having performed well or being considered important, were unavailable. No DVD, no Blu-ray, no 4K until Vinegar Syndrome brought all 3 of those motherfuckers out in 2024 alone, all of them to 4K. All those motherfuckers, all 3 of those movies that I just mentioned jumped from fucking VHS to 4K this year in 2024, thanks to Vinegar Syndrome. And it is a thought that I want to pick up on in another video soon, probably next month as we get a little closer to the end of the year. I want to talk about some of the successes, some of the cool shit we saw over the course of 2024, but I'm going to give it a few more weeks to play out, see what else we see. So thank you again, motherfuckers, for watching this video. I love your faces. And cheers to you. Peace, motherfucker.